All right, y'all, we ain't reacted to hockey in a little minute. You know what I'm saying? I ran across this video on my feed. The NHL player who went out of his way to injure the opponents on purpose. Crazy, man. So let's get into this, bro. Like I said, we ain't reacted to hockey in a little minute, bro. Did I say NFL on the first part? NHL. Okay, NHL player. I like to say hockey player. Y'all prefer hockey player or NHL player? Or does it matter? I'm trying to get in the habit of saying more so NHL player, but every time I say NHL, then I always end up saying NFL though. That's why I'm like hockey player though. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna damn. I be hearing so many players be injuring people on purpose though. Like that's crazy. Injuring on purpose is crazy though. But we finna see who they talking about. Y'all tell me in the comments who y'all think it is though. Because I feel like a lot of y'all, like the people I reacted to in the past, a lot of y'all have called out a lot of the highlights I reacted to with all these players saying that they're dirty players. Somebody called Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Reeves or something like that. Evander something. What's the name of that player? Y'all called him a dirty player though. Then it's another one. His last name is Reeves or something like that. Is it Vander Reeves? Y'all know who I'm talking about though, but y'all was calling dude out because I called him a superstar. Y'all attacked me on TikTok for saying that.
For 12 seasons and 635 games, players
Alright, let's see who this is.
Facing this guy. Keep your head on a swivel and brace for impact because he was always on the hunt.
Everything going after takes a huge hit from Rafi Torres.
Damn. Damn, his teammate fight for him. Tough. That's tough.
Both referees with their arms in the air.
Damn.
Wait a minute.
This might as well be the NFL. I keep getting NFL and NHL mixed because they both about what and what. Oh, shit.
Oh, boy. That's in the head. Right in the head.
Suspended 5 times for a total of 74 games.
Who is this?
The longest ban in NHL history, Rafi Torres earned a reputation as arguably the dirtiest player the sport has ever seen. But what if I told you he wasn't always like this? Before every big hit he delivered seemed to involve him either launching himself off his feet or making contact with someone's head. Back in his junior days with the Brampton Battalion in the OHL, Rafi Torres wasn't always the man.
What is the OHL?
As today. In fact, Central Scouting once described Torres as a focused player who plays a disciplined
Is he still
game.
playing or what?
No, that wasn't meant to make you laugh out loud. Back in the early days of his career,
Oh no, he's not playing. That foot is old.
For his energetic style of play and his strong presence around the net. Growing up, Torres was captivated by Don Cherry's iconic Rock'em Sock'em videotapes. Like so many of us, he didn't just fall in love with hockey. He was drawn to the physical side of the game. Torres once mentioned that he'd watch those classic Rock'em Sock'em tapes as many as 15 times a day, mesmerized by the hard-hitting montages and bone-crunching highlights that defined Cherry's legendary series. After 3 standout seasons with the Brampton Battalion, where Rafi Torres racked up an impressive 111 goals and 223 points across 185
43.
games, he had firmly established himself as one of the top prospects heading into the 2000 NHL draft. That reputation led Mike Milbury and the New York Islanders to select him 5th overall. Yes, you heard that right. Once upon a time, Rafi Torres was a 5th overall draft pick. It's remarkable to think how highly regarded Torres was at this time, especially when you compare that to how people see him today. Torres began his professional career in the AHL with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers, patiently awaiting his opportunity at the NHL level. That opportunity came in 2002 when he was called up to join the Islanders. However, his time in New York was brief, appearing in just 22 games before being traded to the Edmonton Oilers. It was in Edmonton where Torres truly hit his stride and showcased why he was selected 5th overall. During his first full NHL season in 2004, he tallied an impressive 20 goals and 34 points across 80 games. Following the NHL lockout in 2005, Torres returned stronger than ever. In the 2006 season, he set career highs with 27 goals and 41 points over a full 82-game campaign, a season that stands as the pinnacle of his NHL career. 2006, a memorable year for hockey fans, especially those in Edmonton. That was the year the Oilers embarked on their unforgettable run to the Stanley Cup Finals. But along the way, during their second-round series against the San Jose Sharks, Raffi Torres found himself earning a bit of a reputation, and not exactly for the best reasons. In Game 2 of that series, Torres delivered a brutal hit on Milan Mihalik, with the head being the primary point of contact.
Tough.
Back then, hits like this weren't all that uncommon. They were
Damn.
expected to finish their checks, and the game had a harder edge to it.
Bro, that's a hard fall, bro, because
Who had once
I failed before.
throughout the 80s and 90s were starting to retire, leaving a gap. And Torres seemed determined to push the boundaries.
How long has hockey been around, though?
Stepping over the line. At least for the time being. Torres later claimed that this hit was
What the
turning
hell?
point in the series, the spark that ignited Edmonton's comeback from an 0-2 deficit to win the series. Years later, Torres would reflect on that moment, proudly calling it a great hit. He remembered the pats on the back, the encouraging words from his teammates, and the sense that this thunderous check had been a pivotal spark. A moment that woke up Edmonton and set them on the path to victory. In Game 3, Torres played a pivotal role, scoring a goal and providing an assist to help drive the Oilers forward. In hindsight, this felt like the moment Torres truly grasped the impact of delivering a big hit, a feeling he would relentlessly pursue, whether through clean plays or questionable tactics for the rest of his career. That realization paid off in a big way, as he helped Edmonton make it to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, earning him praise and respect from his teammates. Raffi Torres wrapped up the playoffs with 11 points across 22 games for Edmonton, solidifying his role as a rugged power forward, the kind of player who wasn't afraid to push the limits if it meant it could help his team win. In 2007, Torres found himself fined $2,500 for a controversial hit on David Moss, his first official run-in with league discipline. Surprisingly, during his time in Edmonton, Torres managed to avoid suspension. However, with today's stricter rules, it's almost certain he would have spent plenty of time in the press box.
Yeah, it's definitely stricter right now
With the Oilers,
than back then.
Torres was traded once again, this time to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Aside from another $2,500 fine, his stint in Columbus was fairly uneventful. And after a brief cup of coffee with the Buffalo Sabres, Torres
played in the NFL.
Canucks, and his timing couldn't have been better. He joined just in time for another Stanley Cup run. But in classic Raffi Torres fashion, he missed the first 2 games of that playoff run due to a brutal hit on Oilers rookie Jordan Eberle, a moment that foreshadowed what was to come.
Everybody going after takes a huge hit from
Damn. Ooh. Oh, it's play. Oh, yeah. He ran up on him.
This incident earned Torres his first suspension, a 4-game ban that forced him to sit out the opening.
The teammate ran up on him. He said, hell no.
Against the Chicago Blackhawks. And upon his return, well, you could say Torres wasted no time making an impact. In a decisive moment, he delivered another cheap shot right to the head of Chicago's Brent Seabrook. Surprisingly, Torres was only handed a minor penalty for the action, but the repercussions were felt. Seabrook would miss the next 2 games, and the defending champion Blackhawks reeling
Look at him
from
putting
this
that puck up
loss,
again.
ultimately fall in a hard-fought 7-game
This picture.
series. As the Canucks pushed forward, Torres and his teammates found themselves just 1 win away from delivering Vancouver's first ever Stanley Cup. In Game 1 of the finals, Torres edged his name in the history books by scoring the game-winning goal in a tense 1-0 battle.
At least I probably want to play hockey, but I don't know about them hits, bro.
It was a moment of triumph.
I don't want no smoke with them hits.
He would fall short of the ultimate prize.
I don't know ice.
2012. Now with the Phoenix Coyotes,
I play football, but I don't want to get tackled on no damn ice.
The NHL's ultimate scumbag, a player who would seemingly go out of his way to headhunt. It all began when Torres was fined for a brutal elbow to Colorado's Jan Hayda, totally out of nowhere, far from the play, with the intent to injure. And what did Torres receive for that? A mere $2,500 fine.
Damn.
Which, let's be honest, that's like a $25 fine for him. Then, I kid you not, in the very next game, Torres found himself suspended for the 2nd time in his career. This time, it was for charging Minnesota's Nate Prosser. And surprise, surprise, he was once again targeting the head. The writing was on the wall. Torres was effortlessly becoming a name that many despised. Then came the 2012 playoffs, where the Phoenix Coyotes were facing off against the Chicago Blackhawks. It was a moment that would forever live in infamy. Raffi Torres would deliver a hit that left fans and players alike in shock. In Game 3 at the United Center, Torres launched himself airborne, leaving his feet, and made direct contact with the head of future Hall of Famer Marian Hossa, leaving him unconscious on the ice. And yet, no penalty was assessed to Torres for the hit. The only penalty handed out was to Brandon Bollig for sticking up for his teammate. What followed was a heartbreaking sight, Hossa being stretchered off the ice, forced to miss the remainder of the season. And after being discharged from the hospital, Hossa would experience excruciating pain that no one should have to go through. Hossa was lucky though. This could have been another one of those career and life-altering moments like the Mark Savard-Matt Cook incident. It's the type of hit that can destroy not just a player's career, but their life as well. During an interview with the Chicago Sun, Marian Hossa shared that he spent an entire week in a dark room after the infamous hit. Meanwhile, Joel Quenneville would be handed a $10,000 fine for his harsh comments about the officiating.
Joel, what'd you see in the hit first?
Brutal hit. I saw the whole play. 100 miles an hour, no puck, 10 hit the head. It was a brutal hit. I can't believe 4 guys missed it. Makes me sick.
Even Chicago's police chief Gary McCarthy, who was at the game, described the hit as borderline criminal conduct, adding that Raffi Torres was seen cursing at fans in the aftermath.
Oh, shit.
Anyone who knows the game well, it's Don Cherry, the man who Torres had grown up idolizing, weighed in and had some harsh words for Torres.
He's a headhunter now, and it's a damn shame that he's that way. He got 25 games. He should have got 25.
Damn.
Torres.
He's a headhunter now, and it's a damn shame that he's that way. He got 25 games. He should have got 25.
Oh, man, my Wi-Fi just messed up. What time stamp is this? 10, 16?
He got 25 games.
Aye.
He should have got 25 games. He was so lucky before. He had a charmed life. Not kidding. We got a few things to show right here. He led a charmed life. Watch the way he hits these guys over the head. He's almost a poster boy of how not to play the game. Cheap shot on Seabrook. It just goes on and on.
Coyotes GM Don Maloney was one of the few to come to Torres' defense, remarking, "You would have thought Raffi murdered a bus full of children the way he's portrayed here in Chicago. The outcry on so many levels is over the top." Later, in a 2020 interview, Torres revealed that he had received 2 death threats in his hotel room following the hit.
Oh, shit.
Torres was handed the second longest suspension in NHL history at the time, a hefty 25 games.
Damn.
He would manage to appeal, and this...
Hold on, it's connecting.
playoff run, which ultimately ended in a loss to the LA Kings in the Western Conference Finals. In the end, Torres issued an apology and even personally called Hossa to express his regret. Hossa, for his part, made it clear that while he understood the nature of the game, what truly bothered him was the jump. If he didn't jump, Hossa explained, maybe I would have still been hit hard, but it wouldn't have been to the head, and he wouldn't have gotten 25 games. The phone call was brief, but it brought some closure to the incident. In the following season, after serving his suspension, Torres returned to the ice, but he was a shell of the power forward he once was when he first entered the league. Like Graves said, he was now almost the poster child for how not to play the game, and he was eventually traded to the San Jose Sharks in 2013. However, he did manage to have one memorable moment during the opening round of the 2013 playoffs, facing off against his forward team, the Vancouver Canucks. But after the Sharks' sweep in that opening round, Torres quickly returned to his old ways, demonstrating that he learned absolutely nothing from his 25-game suspension. This time, it was Jarrett Stoll who found himself in the crosshairs. Though this may... have been more of a shoulder...
Come on, let's hurry and end this video, bro, because this editing gonna be hectic.
For forcing him to miss the rest of the series. And because it was Torres, a player who collected headshots like infinity stones, he was suspended for the remainder of the playoff series against the Kings, effectively marking the end of San Jose's postseason run. The following year, Torres' luck took a turn for the worse. He tore his ACL, forcing him to miss nearly the entire 2014 season. He only managed to play in 5 regular season games and 7 playoff contests. His final appearance for a Sharks team that infamously squandered a 3-0 season.
So if he 43 now, what age did he retire?
Opening round. Little did we know this would be the last time we'd see Torres compete in meaningful NHL hockey. Proving that karma has a way of coming full circle, Marian Hossa went on to celebrate his 2nd Stanley Cup since Torres' infamous hit. Meanwhile, Torres spent the entire 2015 season sidelined, undergoing multiple knee surgeries. But just as Raffi Torres was preparing for a comeback in the 2016 season, his career came to an abrupt and shocking end. In an October 3rd preseason game, yes, a preseason game against the Anaheim Ducks, Raffi Torres once again made headlines for all the wrong reasons. This time, he intentionally targeted a young Jakob Silfverberg, going completely out of his way to make direct contact with the head.
Wow.
It was a 5-minute major penalty, but fortunately Silfverberg avoided a concussion and was able to return to the ice soon after.
Wow.
Quickly to the disappointment of Torres, the NHL finally found Torres' reckless behavior decided to take a stand. They handed him a 41-game suspension, the longest in league history for a hit, sending a clear message that this kind of play would no longer be tolerated. That's a half-season suspension for a hit in a meaningless preseason game.
Wow.
Only Raffi Torres, man. When Torres finally returned from his suspension, he was still battling knee issues, which ultimately kept him from joining San Jose on their deep run to the 2016 Stanley Cup Final. After signing a PTO with Carolina for the 2017 season, Torres would ultimately be cut, and this would be the end of his playing career, signaling the final chapter in a tumultuous and controversial career. It's no surprise that Raffi Torres' legacy remains unchanged since his retirement.
He had a suspension, 41-game suspension.
Torres openly
you know what I'm saying?
Still grapples with depression. When he
this dude still was doing that.
And the way his career ended, marked by injuries and that 41-game suspension. Yet despite this, it seems
you got suspended.
Has found some peace with being
you had a 41-game suspension and still was doing this shit. Came back and did it.
He shared a lighthearted moment when talking about his own children. He admitted that when they get rough on the ice and he tells them to knock it off, they'll point out, well, you used to do that. Torres chuckled, calling it hilarious, but also reflecting on the thought, there was so much more I could have done out there than just throw the body around. But that's how I'll be remembered. And honestly, it's kind of sad to hear that. Torres had the potential to be a truly great power forward, just like he was in his junior days. But he ultimately chose a different path, becoming the poster child for what not to do in the game. Imagine if Torres had adapted to the NHL's headshot rules. He very well could have been one of those guys you hate to play against but love to have on your team.
Right.
Brad Marchand or Tom Wilson. The talent was there, but his priorities were misplaced. In 635 games, Torres scored 137 goals, totaling 260 points, and just 497 penalty minutes. He was suspended 5 times, serving 74 games, essentially a whole season's worth. Despite
damn, and still came back and did the same shit. He didn't learn his lesson.
Arguably most hated players in NHL history, serving as a stark reminder of how the game should never be played.
Shit, this is 17 minutes though. God damn.
And that's a wrap for today.
And he said it's showing his picture, bro, with the New York hat. What's up with this, bro? With this picture right here. Yeah, this shit was 17 minutes though. God damn. That's crazy though. You was suspended. I mean, you was out 41 games and you still came back and did the same shit. I'm like, come on, dog. At that point, like, come on, bro. Man. Yeah, that's crazy. Have y'all heard of this dude before? It's weird how he came back and just continued to do the same thing though. Like, that's what's strange to me. Like, it's just, I don't know if he had like some obsession with just seeing somebody hurt or what. But 41 games and you was out for 41 games. Basically, majority of the season, you still came back and did the same shit. Oh my God. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man. And I'll see y'all in the next one, man. It's the next time out.